All right, this can be a review. Remember, with reviews, I'm going to pose a problem for you to do. Then I'll want you to go ahead and pause it, try it, and then when you push play, I'll go ahead and go over that problem with you. So it's important that you try this on your own at home. Okay, here we go. First one I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you go ahead and create your own number line to go ahead and graph the following problem. X is greater than -6. Okay, so go ahead and pause it. I want you to go ahead and create your own number line to show that inequality. Okay, so here we go. So we have x is greater than -6. So the method we've been practicing is go ahead, draw 3 lines. Okay, the middle one is the number. I've seen most students doing it this way. You put the number, -6. Okay, the next more negative number would be -7. The smaller negative number, or the greater negative number, I should say, would be -5. Okay, so now I go ahead and say, put my dot in the middle. If there's a line under it, then I go ahead and fill it in. There isn't, so it's an open circle. And then I'm going to shade to the right. Cool. Next problem. Okay, our next problem here. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and give you a number line, and I want you to go ahead and draw, write the inequality for it. So let's do -20, -19, -18, -21, -22. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put a filled in dot. I'm going to draw my line, and I'm going to draw it that way. Okay, so go ahead and pause and write the inequality for that graph right there. Okay, so for this, first thing you always do is you're going to write your variable. So write x. Okay, which direction is it pointing? This one is pointing to the left, so that's the way I'm going to draw my arrow to the left. This one is filled in, so this one has a line under it. And then what number? -19. Okay, pretty simple. All right, next. Okay, so our next one. Now we're going to go ahead and start solving some fairly basic inequalities. Okay, so let's go ahead and do 5n minus 1 is greater than or equal to 14. Okay, so I want you to do two things. First of all, I want you to solve the inequality, and then I want you to go ahead and graph it. Okay, so 5n minus 1 is greater than or equal to 14. So in order to solve this, first thing we have to do is undo anything that's added or subtracted. We have a -1, so we're going to add 1 to both sides. There we go. So you have 5n is greater than or equal to 15. Okay, next step, divide both sides by 5. So there you go. You're left with n is greater than or equal to 15 divided by 5 is 3. Okay, draw your 3 lines. Okay, so 3 is in the middle, 4, and 2. Okay, so this one does have a line under it, so line means fill it in. Okay, it's pointed to the right, so to the right and put that arrow. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, for your next problem, again, now we have more steps to it. Okay, you've got some variables on both sides of the equation, and you have some constants on both sides. Okay, so go ahead, solve it again, and I want you to go ahead and graph it. Go ahead and pause your video right now. Okay, so let's take a crack at this one. This one I made a little bit challenging because I have a -4n and a -2n. I always say move the smaller variable so that you will end up with positive numbers at the end. So -4, -2. The smaller one, remember, is the more negative. The more negative is -4n. So that's the one I would prefer to move. So I move -4n by +4n. +4n. There you go. So negative 6 less than, I don't have to flip the sign because I was just adding, positive 4, negative 2. Signs are different. Find the difference. 4 minus 2 is 2. I have more positives than I do negatives, so it's a positive 2n. Plus 10. Okay, now I want to undo anything added or subtracted to the variable. So right now there's plus 10, so I'm going to subtract 10. Okay, there we go. Okay, over on the left side here, now I have a negative and a negative. Same signs, find the sum. 10 plus 6 is 16. Keep the sign, so it's still negative. Okay, sign stays that way because I only subtracted. Okay, bring down the 2n. Okay, now I'm going to undo my 2 times n by divided by 2. Again, I'm still dividing by a positive number, so the sign does not have to change. So, they're gone, so I have n on this side. Keep the sign. Negative 16 divided by 2 is a negative 8. Okay, we don't want it to be written with the variable on the right. We want to rewrite it with the variable on the left. So in order to do that, remember, I write it here on the left side, but see how the big side is facing the n? So I have to have the big side facing the n here. So big side facing the n, and then negative 8. Okay, now the simple part is graphing. Don't get crossed up with it being a negative. Okay, so the more negative number is negative 9. The smaller negative number, or the less negative number, is negative 7. Okay, no line, no fill-in. So, open circle. The direction it's pointing is that way. And there is your answer. Okay, so here we go. We have a couple of sides that we have to distribute through first. Okay, make sure you go ahead and do your best. Run the number through to both parts of the parenthesis, and we'll see how you do. I'll pause the video, and I'll see you when you get back. Okay, so here we go. 3, got to distribute that through to the x and to the 5. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 5 is 15. Okay, bring down. Okay, next part, distribute the 2 through. 2 to the x, 2 to the negative 7. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 7 is negative 14. Okay, so next, let's go ahead and get rid of the smaller variable. 2x is smaller than 3x, so we're going to get rid of that. We're going to move that over by doing the opposite. Minus 2x from both sides. There we go. 3x minus 2x is just 1x or x. Okay, let's bring down everything else. Okay, so now finally let's get rid of anything added or subtracted to the variable. Get rid of plus 15 by, whoops, pretend that was a 15. Okay, subtract 15, so they're gone. We have x is greater than or equal to, same signs, both are negative, negative and negative. Same signs, find the sum. 14 plus 15 is 29. Keep the sign, so x is greater than or equal to negative 29. Okay, now we need to go ahead and graph that. So let's give me some room. Okay, drawing my beautiful graph. 3 lines. Okay, put the negative 29 in the middle. More negative is negative 30. Less negative, negative 28. Okay, this does have a line, so it does get filled in. Okay, the arrow's pointing to the right. Bada bing, bada boom. That's the ball game. Okay, so let's say, what happens if I got to the end of a problem and I had negative 2n is less than or equal to 8? Take a quick crack at that one. Pause it. Solve this one real quick. I just want to review what you do in this situation. Okay, so for this situation, whenever you're dividing by negatives on both sides, that is when you have to take the sign and flip it. Okay, so only when you multiply or divide by a negative number, that's when you have to flip that sign. All right, final problem. All right, so go ahead and read it and attack it. Identify those keywords. Don't forget to label your variable first. Okay, find out what it is and finish it by always, always, always writing your sentence. Okay, go ahead and take some time, push pause, take your time, spend careful amount of time looking at this, getting it correct, signs and all. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so for this one, it reads, Riley wants to go to the movies with his friends. It costs $8 for the ticket and $1.75 for each piece of candy. If Riley can't spend more than $15, how many pieces of candy can he buy? Okay, so we can identify the variable by looking in that final question there. That's going to tell us what we're looking for. So how many pieces of candy can he buy? So that means our variable, if you want to use C for candy, we can do that. So let's do C equals number of candy. All right, so I'm looking at it, and I know that it's going to cost, or that he can't spend more than 15. So you say, okay, can he spend $16? No. Can he spend 15? Yes. Can he spend 14? Yes, because he has $15. So he could spend less than 15, or he could spend the whole 15, but he can't spend more than it. So less than or equal to. Okay, now we know that if he's going, the ticket cost itself is $8. He only pays that once. But if he wants to spend for the candy for each piece, that again, each piece per, those words tell me it goes with the variable. So plus $1.75 for each piece of candy. That is our equation right there for our inequality. Okay, so now we just simply solve it just like we have been practicing. So first things first, undo anything that's added or subtracted. So we're going to subtract 8 from both sides. Okay, so we have 1.75c is less than or equal to 7. Okay, divide both sides by 1.75. And you get C is less than or equal to 4. Now at this point, you would go ahead and write out the sentence telling me what that means. So for this situation, we said that C was the number of candy, so you'll write that in a complete sentence. You'll write something to the fact of Riley can buy 4 pieces of candy or less. Or Riley could buy up to 4 pieces of candy. You just want to make sure that you are stating that he can't buy more than 4 pieces of candy, okay? You could also be more specific if you wanted. If Riley goes to the movie and spends $8 on a ticket, he could buy up to 4 pieces of candy with $15. Okay? Any of those work. All right, so if you have any questions, shoot me a message on Edmodo. I'll try and get back to you. Otherwise, review. Happy studying, and I'll see you on Monday.